Okay, everyone, I wanted to give a tour of my writing book shelf. As you can see, I have some of the big names in the writing space for inspiration and the writing life. So, obviously, right here, we have Stephen King's On Writing, very famous. Every writer should have this in their shelf. I actually got that as a gift back when it first came out in 2000. Also, Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird, another staple in every writer's writing shelf. I also think it's always good to have a book of baby names, just in case you get stuck and you're trying to name your characters. It's always good to have one of those to look at. And I have some of the more obscure ones, some of the ones that are more famous. Obviously, there's the Gotham Writers Workshop book. There's this one, The Forest for the Trees, Elements of Editing, Elements of Style, John Gardner's On Writing Fiction. And this is the Art of Fiction. On Being a Novelist. That's the one right here. Those are a little intellectually dense, so if you're going to read those, just know you might have to read them more than once. This one is a really great one. Francine Prose's Reading Like a Writer. That's for writers who want to read more critically. This one also I've had for years and years, The Courage to Write by Ralph Keyes. And I believe I have The Courage to Publish. I'm just not quite sure where it is right now. But there's quite a few other ones that are here. This one's good, Scratch. If you want to learn about the business of writing and how people get paid, this is a really, really good one. And it's fairly recent. I think it came out in 2016, maybe 2017. So it's one of the more current ones that I have. I also have a few books up here. This is more for readers than writers, but if I pan up, you can see that I have science fiction and fantasy writing by Orson Scott Card. I also have a few Joanna Penn books, business for authors, and this one on top, which is How to Make a Living with Your Writing by Joanna Penn. And she's very famous in the indie book space, so you can pick that up. Of course, I have Save the Cat Writes a Novel. And my personal favorite, this was one I found in a used bookstore, but it is The Art and Craft of Novel Writing by Oakley Hall. So those are just a few of the books I've had over the years with inspiring me to write, talking about the writing life, and definitely go and pick yourself up a few if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling like you're not quite sure what you're doing. I found that reading a few books on style can always kind of get you out of a little bit of a funk, especially if it's something that is a writer or a take that you've never seen before. So, okay. So, as you can tell, I have a pretty extensive library full of books about writing. And it's November. It is National Novel Writing Month. Although technically that is defunct and now there's a new NaNoWriMo. But for the basic purposes, November is the month when all of us writers decide that we are going to get it together, we're going to lock in, and we're going to write our brains out for the month of November. And that's not necessarily a bad plan. But I do want to talk today about what you should do Novel Writing Month that I personally think is the best approach, and that is have fun. But before I go on, let me just say, hi, my name's Christina, and I am a fiction writer, and I have did a video about a year ago talking about why I don't do NaNoWriMo, And mostly it's because I don't really write novels. Most of my writing is short stories and flash fiction. But this past couple years, I've been working on a novel slowly but surely. And I am no exception to the novel writing month that is November. I made a video about a month ago talking about how October was going to be my lock in. Well, it was going to be October, November, and December were going to be my lock in. And I was going to try really hard to double my word count for my novel and try to get a really good draft. And that has not changed. I am still slowly but surely working on this novel, although I got sick at the end of October, and that was just not fun, which is why our video for the beginning of November is coming out on the 10th, I believe it will be coming out. So the video is a little bit late because I've just been trying to catch up since I recovered. But I wanted to take this time to just make a quick video just to say that if you are new to writing and you're like, oh, you know what, I've never tried this before, but I really want to write a novel, I want to tell you to go for it. Just go for it. Have fun. Whatever story you thought you wanted to write, give it a go. Don't worry about all those craft books and all of those books about the writing life. You're not there yet, and you don't really need to worry about that. What you need to worry about is getting the words down on paper. I've said this before, and I will keep repeating it. Thinking about writing, fantasizing about writing, making plans to write is not writing. You need to write. You need to sit your butt in the chair, pull out your notebook, pull out your laptop, sit up at your desktop, whatever it is that, makes it work. You want to go to the coffee shop, go to the coffee shop. You want to go to the library, go to the library. You want to go to the park, go to the park, wherever. That is writing. And so if you're new, brand new, you've never tried it before, but you always wanted to, sit down and go for it. Just go for it. These craft books, the many, many books on writing that are out there, the tons of videos that are out there talking about writing, they will be here in December if you decide you want to keep going. I don't know if I told this story, probably, but a year ago when I was talking about NaNoWriMo, I talked about how in the mid 2000s, I had a coworker who always wanted to write a book, and she got to 50,000 words and wrote a novel, and she said, never again. She said, never again. I'm not going to do it again. She didn't want to. It was hard work, and she just felt like it wasn't something that she really wanted to pursue. I always say this, trying to do a writing challenge or something will make or break you. You'll either know at the end whether you are a writer, or you'll know that you probably should do something else. Maybe publishing, maybe be an editor, whatever floats your boat. But I always just say, if this is your first time trying to write anything, just have fun with it. Don't worry if you're not writing the right formula, or you don't have the right tropes, or your dialogue isn't good, or your descriptions aren't good. Who cares? You're just trying to get the story down, your story. And if at the end of it, when you're finished, you say, you know what, I want to go back and keep working on this because I think I have something, go for it. But first drafts are really just you getting it down. And if you're like me and you've got a first draft and you are revising, there are different attitudes for that. I always feel like my second drafts do the heavy lifting. That's always when I decide that I'm really going to do the best that I can do. And from that point on, that story, that plot is kind of locked in. My first draft is sometimes it's locked in, sometimes it's a little wonky, but second draft is when everything's kind of locked in, and the only changes that I make are really basic surface ones. If there's a spelling error or the line is a little clunky or something like that. But I usually don't change like the huge structure or add characters or anything else. So right now, while I'm in the middle of my second draft, it's doing a lot of heavy lifting, and it is a little bit of a slog, but you know what? I'm just trying to take it one page at a time because I really enjoy my book. And I don't know, for me, I've said writing is not fun, but it is satisfying. There is a real satisfaction that I have when I have written for the day, whether it's good or bad, I got it done. And I don't have an agent. I don't have a publisher breathing down my neck. Nobody is going to, lose a job or anything if I don't write that day. But for some reason, if I do, I feel better about myself. I feel better about my life. I feel like I'm doing something important. And I guess that's why I've been doing it all these years, is to chase that feeling that I have. Not of getting published, not of getting, riches and stuff like that. It wouldn't hurt if I got a good advance for this novel, but I'm not really worried about that. What I do chase is that feeling of accomplishment, that satisfaction that I get when I'm writing. And I want that for you. I want that for all writers. I don't want it to feel, it shouldn't be torture. You shouldn't be, feel like you're opening up a vein in order to write. It should be, honestly, I think it should be a relief. It should be satisfying. You should feel at the end of the day, I got it done. I got some of these words down of this story that means something to me. And I feel like that should be what everybody wants. Now, of course, I'm just talking about me, who knows what anybody else wants. But I think that's a good goal. So, if you're watching this and it is in the month of November, I hope that you are chasing that feeling. I hope you are having fun, you feel satisfied, whatever it happens to be. And I hope your projects are going well. I hope by the end of this month you've made some huge progress. And I don't know, you're falling in love with your story. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, well, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and consider subscribing. And I'll see you all on the next video. And the next video that's going to play is probably going to be a few days from now, because I feel like I owe you all a bunch of more videos. I've been kind of slacking. So the next video will probably be in the next few days, and it's going to be a journey of the story. I'm going to talk about my first short story that I ever got published and how that happened and all that fun stuff. Hopefully that will be inspiring. So you all who are in the middle of writing your stories can say, oh, cool. Okay. Bye.